Monday morning. How we going? You know the drill. Give me some love on here. Press the red button 154 times. Say hello. Tell me if it's live or replay. Tell me if you're on. My software desires you to talk to me. If you talk to me, I can see. Otherwise, I can't see specifically who's on. I can see numbers, but not who's on. Anyway, how is everyone? How are you all? How's it all going? Getting messages. Okay, cool. Right. So, two people who have inspired me, not the only ones, but two people who have inspired me on my journey, on my self-discovery journey since I left corporate world 3 years ago. Gave up booze, lost 38 kilos, etc., etc. Good morning from Alberta. Mitch, how are you, man? Hope you're all good. Hope the jiu-jitsu's going well. So two people who have inspired me on my self-discovery journey, my inner journey. So David Goggins, say hello if he resonates with you. So David Goggins and Tony Robbins. Okay. And today I'm going to talk about two key learnings that I've taken from those two. Morning, Mr. Fitzgerald. Why are you calling me Mr. Fitzgerald? Sounds like I probably haven't been called Mr. Fitzgerald since I was at school when I was getting told off for being late to lessons or something like that. Were you that guy in the corridor between lessons when the lessons had already started? Because I was. So anyway, so Tony Robbins and David Goggins, two key aspects that I took from those two, and two that can be combined together, which have been I've been reminded today, basically. So bear with me. There's good reason for me telling you all this. On the injured reserve, bruised ribs, red Goggins. Okay, what would Goggins say about your bruised ribs, man? When he say tape them up, he probably would. Yeah. So anyway, right. So why I was inspired to talk about this today. So this morning, the weather's shit. It's raining. It's horrible. It's windy. You know, it's cold. And today was the day we have our monthly man test, what we call our man test on our outdoor training. Yeah. And what fascinates me is the numbers of people who are attending. Yeah. So normally there's probably about 30 people that come to regular sessions, minimum 3 times a week, first thing in the morning, 6 a.m, out on a rugby field with sandbags, kettlebells and tyres, etc. But today, as I say, is a monthly man test where we have basic tests, which is Robbie's saying duct tape. The Goggins famous duct tape. Let's duct tape our shins, right? And so there were many reasons this morning not to show up, and as was confirmed to me by the numbers. Yeah. So normally, as I say, about 30 people rock up. Today, 7 people have signed in. Only 7, right? And then even out of those 7, after signing in, after booking in on the booking system, still only 5 people turned up, right? So that's one thing. So, and for me personally, it's not all about the numbers. It's the main thing for me is to show up, is to be tested every month. You know, I'm not going to say I've been there, done it all. I've got the t-shirt and all of that, but I've hit a massive peak of fitness for where I'm at, for who I am, etc. And so at the moment, it's more about a baseline, a benchmark, a minimum expectation. So that's my kind of expectation when I go there. So as I say, pissing down, bad conditions, many reasons not to go. So I rocked up and I was like, okay, how am I going to get the best out of this for me personally? So I partnered myself with a newbie, one of the new boys. So it's only his second month this month. And, you know, without telling you too much to ruin his confidentiality, etc., I'll give you a gist of what happened. So this guy on his second month, 4 tests. So how long can you hold a plank for? How many burpees can you do in 2 minutes? How many press-ups can you do in 2 minutes? And how fast can you do a 1 kilometer run? Yeah. So rather than blasting out my figures personally, what I did, I hooked up with this guy because it's kind of an I go, you go process. Yeah. And we monitor each other's form, etc. So I went with this guy, this newbie, and immediately the narrative started. Yeah. greatest respect to this guy, and certainly even more respect afterwards, right? So there were various things that this guy didn't achieve last month on his first showing, yeah? And this is a guy that doesn't do fitness. He's the guy that didn't really do PE at school, didn't really do any sports and everything. He's quite lucky because he's still quite thin, quite slim, which is lucky. However, his strength is really struggling. So really struggling at press-ups and strength things. So we work through these processes, work through the tests, and each time there's a narrative he'll come out with, right? So when it came to the press-ups, and he's like, I've only done press-ups from the knees all month. And I'm like, and this is a quick, brief conversation before we do the 2-minute test. And I said, well, why is that then? And he says, well, I don't think I can do proper press-ups. Okay, why? And he says, well, I'm not strong enough. Right? Who says that? Is it true? Is it real? Who's telling you this? Where's this coming from? You know, and all these different questions, right? So what I'm doing is basically undermining his limiting belief. Yeah, I'm challenging him, his mindset, probably in a way he's not been challenged before. Yeah, and yeah, so that's how the conversation started. So press ups, he did it. He did his he did 9 full press ups. Yeah, not off the knees in 2 minutes, which doesn't sound a lot. However, this is 9 more than this guy's ever done in his life before, and he's 40 plus. Yeah, so that's the first test. So we get that out of the way. He actually had to hit 10, so a bit gutted he didn't hit the 10, but and he was close, and I could have probably given it to him, but you know what, it wasn't quite there, and rather than give it to him, it was like, okay, next time. So that's that one done. We then went for the burpees, and he says, I'm too tall for burpees. And again, we have that conversation. Is that true? Is it real? How tall are you? How tall am I? What's the difference? You know, where did this come from? You know, and again, start undermining this limiting belief again, right? So this time he did smash out 12 burpees in 2 minutes with 30 seconds to spare, actually. And again, when we're doing the burpees, he's like, I can only do burpees from the knees. Using my knees, going up and down on my knees instead of sort of straight down and straight up, which is still valid, by the way. You still get your accreditation for it, but you know, there's an easier and a harder way. So he was always doing the easier way. So today he did probably half of them proper form, which was impressive, right? So again, 6 out of 12 burpees, proper form, more than he did last time, better than his previous self, better than his old self, right? We then come to the plank, yeah, and what he needs to hit to get the first band is 1 minute. 1 minute plank, yeah. And I told him, what was he saying? He said, my core's too weak. I said, right, well, you use all the other parts of your body then, yeah? Your whole body is involved in a plank. It's not just your core, right? If you involve your glutes, your arse, your shoulders, your arms even, you know, you can lock everything into place and get into a specific position. So again, we had that limiting belief conversation, right? And I said, how long is a minute? And he said, well, it's not really long. I was like, okay, well, do me a favor, take your mind somewhere else during that minute, yeah? Pretend you're on holiday, you're in the Caribbean, you're in the Indian Ocean, you're in the Maldives, whatever it is, yeah? And I was next to him on this plank. So today he did 1 minute 13 on the plank, which he was super chuffed about. You know, and all of a sudden, I then see a change in his demeanor, yeah? All of a sudden, he's like, you can see he's like, sense of achievement, number one. And number two, is that sudden realization, shit, I can actually do these things. I can do this, you know? And then we got to the run, the final one. So the 1 kilometer run. So this guy last month didn't even finish, didn't even complete 1 kilometer, which is basically 10 laps of our rugby field. So today, I went with him today and I said, you know what? And all this wasn't planned, by the way. This was all random. This was all just, you know, let me test this thing out. I see potential in this guy, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna run with you today at your pace, right? And I said, I'm only giving you one condition to start with. One condition in the 1 kilometer: do not walk. We're not going to walk, right? That was the only condition I gave. Can you handle that? Yeah, I can. Yeah. So then what was really interesting, and this is where the limiting beliefs started screaming on the first few laps of these 10 laps to get to the kilometre. So all the limiting beliefs were coming out, you know. I can't do this. I can't breathe. I can't. I'm not built for this. This is not me. I'm tired. All these limiting beliefs, you know. And I had fun undermining each and every limiting belief. You know, is it true? Is it valid? Where's it come from? Who says it? You know, and also all sorts of things are going on in his brain while we're trying to do this run. However, at the same time, I'm telling him to keep his breath calm, right? I'm telling him to keep calm, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, nice and steady, a flow, run at your pace. Don't worry about everyone else. They're all running off. Don't worry about it, right? However, when the limiting beliefs were coming up, I was squashing them, each one, boom, 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 you know. And then he went quiet on the second half of the run, the last sort of five laps. He's quiet. And I went, what are you thinking? And he says, well, I'm thinking that a lot of what I've already told you is just bullshit, isn't it? It's because I had said to him along the way, this is the bullshit story that you're telling yourself. This is the narrative that you're telling yourself to not get things done, to stay in your comfort zone, stay in safety. Yeah. And this is where I'm getting to now. As I say, I'm running next to him and I see a big smile on his face, and he said, it's bullshit, and this is all just bullshit. And I'm telling myself, I said, well, you tell me. So now this is where I get to the point of my inspiration. So two things. David Goggins' 40% rule, right? If you haven't read David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me, definitely read it. It's a brilliant book, whatever level you're at, wherever you're at. There's a tinge of ego in there. There's a tinge of, you know, Goggins is a loner. There's no doubt. Is he the best team player that you've ever seen? Maybe, maybe not. But that's not for me to judge. But apart from that, you know, his Can't Hurt Me is amazing, right? And there's one key principle here, the 40% rule. Yeah. So what the 40% rule is about is that our brain and body tell us at 40% of capacity that we're done. We've had enough, right? Next time you try a physical exercise or even something challenging, you know, a work presentation or something, test yourself, and at 40% of physical activity, you know what happens. The brain says, "Oh, that's all right, man. That's okay. Let's pack it up. We're done. We're finished. It's all right. You know, it's okay, brother. Let's relax. Nobody else will know. Let's stay comfortable. Let's chill out. Why should we do this? Why are we doing this? What's the point? You know, 40% rule. The brain starts telling us to pack up, to finish, right? And the problem is, this is the wider problem out there, you know, with all my clients, I would say. And this is a big generalization. The problem is, if you listen to that 40% rule, if you listen to your inner voice, what we call the lower self, if you listen to that narrative, you'll stop, yeah? And you'll leave 60% on the table, 60% of opportunity, 60% of untapped potential, you'll leave it on the table, right? So combined with that, the other thing I talked about was what Tony Robbins says about the bullshit story we tell ourselves, right? So what he's talking about there is limiting beliefs. Yeah, the beliefs that we have that limit ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm afraid of X. I'm too small. I'm not built for running. I'm not strong enough. All this bullshit that we tell ourselves over the years, right? From life experiences and from essentially from their subconscious trying to keep us safe, comfortable, you know, our millions of years old brain, which is built for back in the day with a saber-toothed tiger to keep us safe from that tiger, right? Guess what? There is no tiger anymore. Yeah. However, our brain is still conditioned the same way. Fight or flight mode. When it kicks off, what do? We fight, flight, or freeze, don't we? Who knows that feeling? Let me know here, guys. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. And I'll be going for 14 minutes. Wow, 14 minutes. Well, you can see how passionate I am about this and how important these two key principles are. So I'm going to round it off, the 40% rule. Next time your brain starts saying pack up, finish, push through it. There you go. Robbie says, I've never run a 10K in my life. So we've been going together for what, 5 months now, Robbie? And yeah, you never run, ex-professional rugby player, but you've never had the need or never wanted to run a 10K. So we tried to put something in there that's a bit different, a different type of challenge. Led by you, of course. That's what you wanted to do. And you fucking smashed it, even with an injury. And you're going to do it again for your sins, for your madness. So what I'd ask you there is, where is what's happened to the 40% rule? Did you experience that on the journey? And what's happened now? Yeah. How do you deal with the 40% rule? How do you deal with that inner voice now that says, pack up, it's okay, we're done, it's all right, we've done enough? Yeah. How do you deal with that? And how do you deal with the bullshit story, that inner voice, the lower chill out? Yeah. The lower self saying, it's okay, man, we don't have to do this, we don't have to grow, right? Anyway, gonna leave it there, guys. I hope it's of value. Let me know your thoughts and let me know your experiences. But those two key principles, once you fully understand them, and if you can combine those two thoughts and principles together, they are an absolute game changer. Because over time, what happens, you become more and more self-aware of this happening. You become more and more self-aware of that 40%, your inner voice kicking in and just saying, that's it, we're done, we're finished. Yeah. And then the other side of it, the bullshit story. So when your inner narrative starts in the future, just challenge it, just question it. Is it really true? Is it valid? Where did that come from? What does it really mean? Let's unravel it. Let's declutter it. Yeah. Anyway, going to leave it there, guys. Have a great one. I've rattled on for quite a while. Take care of yourself.